The master of horror, Wes Craven, is back, and he returns to Woodsboro and one of his most successful franchises. Hello there, everybody. I'm movie critic Nick Yakubuchi, as always, for RealScreenReviews.com, and I'm happily joined by my returning guest critic, Greg Hill. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
How courteous can he be? And our next film review is Scream 4, which opened on Friday, April 15th, 2011. It comes to us from director Wes Craven, as I said, and it reunites the talents of Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and a bunch of teenagers. And without further ado, I will turn it over to my guest critic to tell us a little about the returning franchise of Scream.
Well, the movie starts out and we find out that the town of Woodsboro has been made famous by a succession of horror movies called Stab.
Yeah, the Stab movie.
Based upon the Woodsboro murders that have taken place.
So there's the movie within a movie.
Yes. And we see a bunch of new characters played by various teenagers of Hollywood. And we find out that it's there's a Culkin in there. There's that girl related to
There's
Julia
a Roberts. There's a somebody.
That chick from Heroes.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of them. Okay,
there's a slew of them.
Okay.
And we find out that
Sidney
has returned to Woodsboro as well. The day before the anniversary of the famous Woodsboro killing.
Right.
That made her famous.
Right. And then we have a new series of murders. We have a new series of bloodshed. Well, I'm gonna say now, right off the bat. Now, I always try and question my critics. Now, did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie?
I didn't hate it.
Okay, that's not a raving endorsement.
But I didn't like it.
You know, and I'm gonna tell you, I think I'm right there with you. I think. To start, I would say that this is, without question, the absolute definition of more of the same. Would you not agree with that?
Oh, I would totally agree. It's like, comparing between that and the first one, which was very good.
Very credible.
And, you look at this one and I was like, did they get carbon paper and just take that one and make a rubbing of it? Because it was pretty much the same thing.
It was an exact copy of the original. I couldn't have put it better. Now, I will say that there are some parts of this movie that I liked. I liked that they updated the rules. I thought the best parts of this movie was when the main characters were discussing what they can and can't do, what are the new rules of the story. However, 20 minutes later in the film, the whole audience that was in attendance with me is laughing out loud at the screen because these people are violating the rules that they just stated they shouldn't break.
Yes.
Am I not right? I mean, it was really ridiculous.
Absolutely correct. There's a scene with two cops who are posted outside of Sidney's house, and they're talking about, hey, I'll take the first watch, and the other cop says, oh, well, you're not supposed to say that because then you'll end up dead before you get back to the car. Well, then 5 minutes later, the other one says, hey, I'll take the first watch. And just like you said, and they're violating the rules that they've been talking about for the whole movie.
And we were saying, the first Scream, I think, is actually one of the best horror movies. I think it's one of the best whodunits. But the first movie was very, very scary, and this film is none of that. This film is not. This film was funny. It's not thrilling. It's just, I don't know. It just, none of it worked for me.
It's almost like at times you were watching the Wayans brothers' take on Scary Movie, or Scream.
Yes,
rather.
I think as far as this movie goes, I don't think you're really ruining anything. It was like almost a mock-up of Scary Movie and not of the Scream franchise. Yeah. Well, actually, if instead of just to keep beating up this film, like how many stars would you give it?
I gave it 2.
2 stars?
Just for the mere fact that Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox were once again on the same screen.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll tell you, I think I'm going to say I liked it just a little bit less than he did. I think I'm going to say it's 1.5 stars. It was just so predictable. There was some funniness to it, there was some frighteniness to it, but it was very minimal, and it was probably not worth anyone's time or $10 to tell. So I'll tell you, I'd say with a combined 3.5 stars, I would say that this is probably one that you would easily skip at the theater, and you can easily wait for this to Redbox it for $1 or just not even see it at all.
Yeah, but I will say Wes Craven is the master of horror. He released the movie on Income Tax Day, or what's usually Income Tax Day.
Is that what?
So, yeah.
Does that make it worse or better, or?
I don't know. I haven't read the rule book on that one. They didn't explain that in the rules, so I don't know.
Well, something tells me if you got your tax return, you wouldn't want to spend it on a ticket for Scream 4.
No.
Well, Greg, thank you so much for being here, and he will be back to review Your Highness with me shortly. Yes. But until then, we'll say, as always, remember, people, we're not always right.
Only when it comes to the movies.
And thank you for your attention.